This is Diana Sullivan in Austin, Texas, with some more river lessons. And what I want to talk about in this lesson is one-by-one ribbing, and you can also do this with full needle rib, using a cast-on that is a kind of E-wrap cast-on. This is going to be a cast-on that is a kind of an E-wrap cast-on, and I'm racked so that I match, and I'm bringing out every other needle using my needle pusher, and I'm going to have the end needles be up on the main bed, and I need to show you a diagram to help you to understand how this is going to work. You remember our main bed ease. This was a way to cast on and make a nice edge by going around each needle just like a longhand E. And that's how you would do it on the main bed. With the ribber, though, we're dealing with something like this. We want to do an E here and then do an upside down E and right side up and upside down on a cross. That means that my main bed needle gets a counterclockwise wind, and my ribber needle gets a clockwise wind, counterclock, clockwise, on a cross. The problem is that with our actual machine needle arrangement, the needles are close together, so you really have to do this sort of condensed counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and on a cross. So this is what we're actually going to do, but it's a kind of an E-wrap cast-on. Here's my yarn where I've hung it just between the beds. It's just hanging down, attached to a clothespin down below where you can't see. My first needle is a main bed needle, so I'm going to go around it as I look at it counterclockwise. Then my ribber needle, if I were looking straight down on it, it would be clockwise, and I just coil around like that, and then I kind of poke them back. And this is done loosely. Takes a little bit of practice, but it's easy. And I'll tell you the reason that so many people are using this cast-on. They like the way that it looks. And I think I better go a little bit slowly and explain again. Counterclockwise around this main bed needle, then behind that ribber needle and around it again, then counterclockwise around the main bed needle again. This seems like longer than it ought to be, and that's what you want it to be. If you have less yarn than that, you're going to run into some problems. So I finished this on across. That's how that looks all the way across. And did you notice that all my ribber needles and all my main bed needles are in hold position? And both of my carriages are set to knit all the needles. I have my carriages set for regular ribbing. They are not set for a zigzag row or a circular row. They're just set for plain knitting. And I knit across one row. Then I hang my comb. The comb is hung in the usual way. I bring it up in between the beds, remove the wire part of the way, and work it up so that it's in between all of those stitches. Someplace in between, anywhere. And then I make sure that this end of the yarn is free, and I'm going to hang my weight, just as I did for every other ribbing. Now remember, you can use this for a one-by-one rib, and you can use it for full needle rib. You can use it for both. Now I'm going to knit some rows of ribbing so that you can see how the finished edge looks. Now, do you remember how the edge looked on your one-by-one ribbing? Maybe you can get your sample out and refresh your memory with how the edge looked on the front and the back. Lots of people really like the way the edge looks on the E-wrap ribbing. Here it is from the front or the back. It looks the same either way. And then here it is on the edge. It's a little bit looser on the edge, but when the sweater is hanging, it has a whole different effect than the circular edge. So there's the circular edge, and there's the E-wrap edge. I I should also mention that this is just the greatest thing in the world when you have to cast on a few stitches at the beginning or the end of some ribbing. It works really well for that, and I really hope that you'll sit down and try this. If you have a little trouble the first time, watch the video again and try it again, because lots of people really, really like this edge, and I find lots of uses for it. So that is E-Wrap Ribbing Cast On.